Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Classic Touring Car Racing Club TV. Two things. First one, there seems to be a problem with the Facebook. It's not broadcasting live to Facebook. Those of you that are watching, presumably, are on YouTube. Please do let people know on Facebook and send them the link for the YouTube, because it just isn't working there and there's nothing I can do. There's obviously a technical problem there. So apologies about that one. Secondly, and first of all, it is absolutely paramount that we rightly come together at the moment, because at yesterday's Quattro Group British Supersport Championship race at Alton Park, exiting turn 1, Old Hall Corner, on the first lap, a chain reaction incident occurred involving 11 riders who fell. The race was immediately stopped and the medical services were deployed to the scene incredibly quickly. But sadly, the incident has tragically resulted in the fatal injuries of 2 riders and another in hospital with significant injuries. We have sadly lost 21-year-old Owen Jenner and 29-year-old Shane Richardson, and our hearts and thoughts go out to their families and friends. We've also lost 13-year-old Lauren O'Brien over in the Cork grass track racing scene. And again, our heartfelt sympathies go out to family and friends for Lauren as well. Rest in peace, Warriors. 47-year-old Tom Tunstall is also in hospital with significant injuries from the bikes, and we wish him and the other 5 riders with minor injuries all the very best for a speedy and full recovery. The wonderful news we had tonight is that Tom Tunstall is actually expected to make a full recovery. It's just going to be very slow with broken bones in his neck, I believe was the latest update. We also extend our best wishes to everyone impacted by the unfortunate incident yesterday, as we know it will have affected so many people on all sides of the fence. I encourage you all to reach out for support if you need it. You don't need to suffer alone, and it will affect people in different ways. We will observe our very own 1-minute silence as a mark of respect before starting this evening's broadcast. Rest in peace, Shane and Owen. So thank you very much for allowing us to say that, and delighted to say that, of course, we do have Stuart Caie, the chairman of the racing club, with us. Good evening, Stuart.
Hello, Chris. How are we doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for doing that. We'd discussed that, and please, everyone at the club, our thoughts with the families of the deceased. It was a terrible accident. And these things, we all know how dangerous it is, but when there's situations like this happen, it brings it home. And you can see how the racing families sort of all get together in these times when we realise just how badly things can go. So yes, no, thank you for doing that.
No, and understandably, everybody watching, we're going to now try and lift the spirit of this, as I'm sure would be wanted. And the easiest way to start that, Stuart, is to say that it really, as you just said then, makes a big, really hammers home that family that is in the paddock, isn't it? And I've always said to you, one of the things I love about the Classic Touring Car Racing Club is it really has that family vibe, doesn't it, in the paddock and at the awards and everything?
Yes, it does. You know, it brings it makes everything real when things like this happen. You know, we're just at times when things go wrong, people do reach out. People you don't even speak to in the paddock, I have to say, or just checking in on people, making sure they're okay, because you know one day it could be them. And I think everybody works together and just makes sure checks everybody out. As you know, there was the big accident, the Pre-83 race at Brands Hatch, and I, you know, just checking in on those guys, making sure they're all right, and you know, it could have been very bad. That so, you know, we do all like to stick together. I don't think I think we're quite introvert, and maybe have the conversations privately and check on friends. But certainly it's heartwarming. That's why, you know, I do what I do with the club, and you know, I love being part of it because everybody makes you feel welcome and everyone looks out for each other.
It really does, and that's why it's really good to hear that you guys are going to be back together again. It is it's a week on Saturday, isn't it already?
So
quickly before we do that, sorry, mate. I'm just going to put this up. John Gill says thoughts and prayers are with the family. So thank you for that, John. Sorry. Yeah, it's that great opportunity for everyone to be together in a circuit you haven't been to for a little while, I think.
Well, as we know, it is at the end of the earth.
No, you're thinking Anglesey there, mate.
And you know, we've got it's a long drive down there, but they've put on a lot of stuff for us. It's 10 years since we've been there, so we thought it was a time to go back again. Barker have been on at us every year to go down or try and support it, but you've got to really you've got to leave it that long to get people to want to drive down there, because it's but it's so nice once you're there. It's so nice. As you must have been down there in your capacity, or have you not? Do you not travel that far?
I've never commentated there. No, it's not that far. In Swindon, it's not that far for me, really. But well, it is, but as in it's not quite as bad as it is for you guys. Never commentated there, circumstantially, and I think I've only been there once. This is when I was younger, and I used to actually pit crew for a friend's dad who raced. Only kind of really went with him, and I find it quite a cool place. It's really, I don't know, almost a spooky sort of like old-fashioned air base, really,
well,
isn't
it?
It's
RAF, isn't it? Yeah. So
yeah.
It's no, it's you know, even when you're out there racing, it's the circuit flows where some circuits I find maybe don't flow as much. You know, it's a fast circuit. It's fast and flowing, and I think once people get down there, they'll realise that the journey was worth it. We've tried to sort of put the timetable so it's a little bit easier on everybody. Getting away I think it's just after lunchtime. I'll have to double check that, but there's no late races. There's no 5 o'clockers or anything like that in there. To let people get home, because I know it's quite a southernish country club now. But there are people that do need to travel a long way home. So we try and do the best we can. But yeah, you know, great weekends racing. You know, we've managed to get together with Bark to maybe encourage people down there. So we've got the 3 races for each championship over the weekend. Each of those races is double points. Somebody actually pointed out to me that if they went to Pembrey and Super Tora Power, they could probably win the championship by the time we finish on the Sunday afternoon at Brands Hatch. But do come to Snetterton. So yeah, you know, we've done the double points to entice people down here. I make no secret of that. I'm not completely shameless of me, but you know, the entry's looking good. I was looking at the entry today. You know, there's people still piling in. It's nice. It was quite funny. Someone mentioned earlier that they thought that we'd booked it with the trucks as we've got cheap track time, and sadly that wasn't the case. We did get a bit off with Bark because we managed to get 3 races, but no, sadly we don't get money off because we race with the trucks. Quite the opposite, actually, but there we are. But yeah, you know, just trying to. This is what I like the club to try and be at events. You know, we was at Brands Hatch at Easter. A lot of people, as we mentioned before, there was some issues. People saying they didn't want to do double brands. I totally get that. You know, I think next year, obviously, we're not doing that, and we're already looking at, you know, Alton Park and Croft, etc. But for me, the brands meeting at Easter was it just was good. You know what? Everybody was just in a good mood. So only way I can put it, right? Everybody I spoke to, there was no grumbling, or there was just everyone was in a good mood. It was great. And that's, I think sometimes when you're part of those bigger events with the trucks or with someone else or whatever, and you actually feel like you're in an event, not just loads of us standing around. I know it's nice to go along somewhere and it's the club and we're all, but that's why we try and do it. We certainly don't do it because we get cheap track time, that's for sure.
No, I don't think there's such a thing anymore, is there?
I wish there. Well, when we switch to the rude word, then I wish there was.
Yeah, we can't do that. We're too early for you to say a rude word, mate.
Yeah.
No, and I've got to say, my memory of when I went to Pembrey, apart from it being cold because it was late in the year, was that I was on the pit wall, and it was like one of these like special GTs type races, and it was the lead car was like a mock Ferrari, if you will. So in other words, it wasn't actually, but it was the body shape of one, and it was flying absolutely ludicrously quick because it was a light frame thing, and coming out of that final right hander onto the start finish straight, it went wide, went out onto the grass, and sort of like was fishtailing everywhere in troll. And of course, we're on the pit wall, and we all just literally ran, the whole pit wall just ran away from the pit wall. And then there was nothing. We went, oh, he obviously got it there. And we went back to the pit wall, and somehow he had. None of us will ever see how he did it because we didn't hang around. And that was my overriding, because it's a really ballsy circuit, isn't it, to be honest?
Yeah, it is. You know, you've got that tight hairpin at the end of the start finish straight. Well, sort of hairpin, but it's still a tight right hander where you're absolutely slamming on the anchors. And then you've got the middle section where you're kind of holding on for dear life's completely sideways, driving the old Capri out the passenger window. So yeah, it is a great circuit. As well, as I said, mentioned in my email, we've got the garages for the pre-83 cars. There is a whole total of 12 garages at Pembrey. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we've got them, and the area behind it where I think it's some power and stuff. So you might have to do a bit of sharing. Everyone's got to be friendly and nice to each other and make it all work. It's first come, first served. So that's that. On the Saturday night, they put on, it's Phil, isn't it? Phil runs Pembrey. They put on a big party. We've got the club barbecue down there. Mark Chollerton, again, kindly making sure that happens for the club. So I do thank him for that, because he spent so much time at Brands Hatch saving a spot for the barbecue. It was incredible. But we had the club barbecue, but there is also a big party in the bar in the middle. We've got a band on. I think they have a live stage outside, so Bar could put the stage on. And Bar could put the stage on, and there'll be music all night. So please, that's all free. They've got sideshows and all sorts of bits and bobs for kids, face painting and various stuff going on. So please take kids along. It'd be a really good event. Like, just a nice. We've tried to. Bark have done everything they possibly could to get us back there, and I was like, right, where's the party? Where's the beer? Where's the barbecue? So they're putting it on, and we get away at a decent time on a Sunday. So please do go down there. Jason, etc., will be there with the fuel and all the usual bits and bobs. Everyone will be there. So please do. I know it's a bit of a long way, but it's 325 quid. It's the cheapest race event of the year, and you get 3 races. You get 15 minutes more track time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What have you got? So, because I've got the provisional timetable in front of me, and it's going to be provisional because it's only V1 at the moment. Right. So one race on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday, is it, or the other way around?
No, there's one on the Saturday. Is there one on a Saturday afternoon? Into one Sunday morning, and then one later in the morning. One more of a couple. So there is a V2 being developed at the moment. Again, it's always the way, as we always discuss this, we don't know who's going to turn up. So you can't really give, 303 a grid because you don't know when they're going to turn up because everyone enters 10 minutes before, which I totally understand because, but you know what, like things are tough for everybody. And, you look at this and we discussed it yesterday. To be honest with you, I talk very openly on these things, but I discussed it with Bark because there's some other championships that pay everything up front and they give them all, and they know everything's going to happen all year. And I said, we're not like that. We're working people. We pay for our races per pay packet. We try. It's why we do it 4 weeks apart to try and allow people to, want to save or whatever you want to do. They know when it's coming, so they can factor that in. So people are still. There was another 5 cars entered today.
Oh wow!
So there's still cars entering. So it hasn't actually been decided how the grids are going to be laid out. If I'm honest at this point, I think pre-66 a bit of a given with 21 cars. I think 21. Let me just look at my screen. Forgive me for doing this and being very unprofessional, but you're used to me now.
The big dog does what he wants.
22 cars. You go. 22 cars in pre-66. That's a good turnout. And there are some cool old buses out there. I'll tell you, there is some cool old stuff going down there.
Really?
10 in pre-83. 8 in 93, just the 2 at the moment in 03. Boss has got 4. Thunder, which I think is a shame. I don't know what's happened to Thunder this year. I really don't. There's 4 cars in Thunder and 2 in historic Thunder. It's dropped off the cliff. It just drops off the cliff.
Which will explain why Ricky can say, evening, Ricky. Good to hear from you, mate. Evening, chaps. We need more cars at Pembrey. Obviously, one of our proud
one
sponsors.
Of our club sponsors. So yes, and thank you. He's just at the bottom there. You can see.
We just got
underneath you in a second.
Which he also said, by the way, evening. All our thoughts are with you all at this very sad time. RIP says Ricky can as well. So thanks, mate. Appreciate that. I mean, what are we at? I've lost track with all these blowing bank holidays and everything. It's Tuesday, isn't it?
All day.
It is. So we're just over a week and a half away, which I've always found with racing drivers is that we got loads of time. We got loads of time. We got. And you're as bad as well with your own cars, aren't you? It's like it's lastminute.com all the time.
The thing is, everyone's so busy with their lives and money, and trying to earn money to pay for it all. That oh God, I've got to go and get a camper. Oh God, I've got to do this and do that. Luckily I've got Colin who takes the car, etc. for me. But I still got to sort myself out, get entered, get everything get the kids, get everyone. So it is it is tricky at times, but it is what it is. We do it because we enjoy it.
When do you ideally? Now I know the obvious answer is yesterday, but when do you really need people to get on the potty, so to speak?
Don't know really. Probably like cut off. I think is Monday. I think they were pushing for Friday, but it'll be Monday.
Okay.
We're never going to turn away a car that wants to turn up at the last minute or whatever.
No,
it is. As long as the only thing is, it has to be by that Wednesday lunchtime because they have to get all the permits and everything ready, and it's on the finals for all the clerks. So when we start we have done it before. I won't lie. We've got people have called up late Wednesday afternoon, and we've rung Bark and tried to get them booked in, and it's just a bit more tricky because their numbers not registered with the clerk, or no one knows what transponder's going on, and it's always a bit of a mess on Saturday morning. So we kind of say, look, it's Wednesday lunchtime, that's your lot.
Then my biggest advice is get entering people. Let's do this. It sounds like it's going to be a cracking fun. 3 races. We've got a barbecue on the go. There's a party and music and everything in the clubhouse. It's going to be epic fun, and it's mixing it up, isn't it? It's going somewhere different. You can't keep going to the same places. It's nice to throw something different in the mix.
Yeah, I think that's why we put it there. We always like to do one kind of wild card meeting, and we thought we'd give this a go. it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. There was the option of Anglesey actually at one point, but I wasn't sure how brave I was for that. But you know, they're really putting a lot of effort into it. There's a lot of racing, a lot of good quality racing. We've only got 3 grids because we knew it was never going to be a massive event. But those 3 grids will be busy and everyone will get a decent race. So please do join up and get yourself on the M4.
Yeah, absolutely right. Okay, so pay attention to the timetable will change as we as you enter, because that will determine
basically
what the grids are going to be.
Yeah, I know. Look, I know how unprofessional it seems, right? But we've been tasked with not making the club go bankrupt, and we have to do what's best financially for the club.
Yeah,
which is why sometimes you get weird mixes of cars together or stuff like that. But a lot of other clubs out there, as we know, are suffering, and we want to make sure that we're still standing when everything else is finished at the end of the apocalypse.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No,
Ricky Can says, I'm looking forward to Pembrey after 25 years since I was last there driving Tony Palmer's Unipart liveried Rover SD1. How cool's that?
Proper Group 2 car, that was a proper Group 2 car, which is floating around. I'm sure it's floating around in the Masters. I'm friends with the owner on social media, but I can't remember his name now. But yeah, that's a proper car, that is.
I think I might have seen it as well.
It's Tony probably sold for peanuts many years ago, and then obviously now Group 2 Rovers are worth a fortune. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly catching up on some of the comments. Stuart, evening, mate. Evening, all. We're rivals on track, but we'll do anything for anyone off of it. 100%. Completely agree. Great to hear. Brendan Rooney, evening, mate. Says, evening, all. Good to hear from you. One of my favourite personalities, that guy. He's just absolutely wicked. He's so cool. AD16 Sport, evening, all. Hello to you, mate. Hey, talking of legends, MJ Key blasting. Ricky is a legend. We know you'd say that with your obsession with your Rover SD1. Says me, obsessed with Rover SD1s. John Gill says, guys, I'm trying so hard to get there for Thunder, but yeah, working my ass off to get there. If I can, I'll be there, big dog.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
And MJK Blaster says, an evening, big dog and Dawesy. Evening to you too, mate. Hope you're going well. So just quickly on that as well, as you say, the trucks are there. It's kind of like 2 extremes. You've got the Adrian Flux MG Owners Club, but you've got the 2CV Racing Club as well.
Yeah, they're very nice bunch of people.
They are. It's brilliant.
Do you know what? They once did. Bark once did. They had some cheap track time. They did this all-comers thing at the end of the day at Cadwell, and we were all out with 2 CVs. It was really 50 quid race. We had to give Ian Watson 50 quid, and it was a 50 quid. And we were able to. The deal was just stay away from the 2 CVs. Like all right, fine. So it was kind of airing rounds. It's the 2 CVs trailing round after each other. But you know what? They have a good time. They have just as much fun as we do, very nice bunch of people. Nice people to run it. Actually, I had a chat with them up at Race Retro a couple of years ago. One thing I did want to add. Sorry, I'm all over the place tonight. But there's so much out. Was somebody spoke to me the other day about why there wasn't a Race Retro. We didn't want to waste club money on a stand, and we would much rather pay to give everybody the barbecue. It's the same amount of money over the year to have a stand at Race Retro or the barbecue for everybody. So we thought we'd have the barbecue where everyone gets together and is all part of the club, rather than everyone just standing there looking at some cars. And I didn't think it was value for money. So that's why we didn't do it.
You did say that on a previous episode, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a couple of people. Someone mentioned it to me the other day, and I said, no, like I just wanted to spend the money elsewhere in actually bringing the club together. And, that barbecue, people are sitting there till 10 o'clock at night, sitting on people's trailers, having a chat. And
is that what they call them now? Is it?
Yeah, but no, someone bringing got their radio and someone's got their music on, and it's a nice thing that Mark Charlton's managed to bring back to the club, because it was missing after COVID.
Just quickly, because I've seen the second one come in. Melvin Hooker says, "Hi all, sorry I'm late. I'm doing that thing called work."
Unbelievable.
It's John Kill says, I hear you, Mr. Hooker. But he also then adds, can't get YouTube on my work computer, so might not be able to stay long. And I do apologize for people that were hoping to be watching this on Facebook. There is an issue. I should imagine I'll get a technical report afterwards that there is an issue between the StreamYard and the Facebook. So apologies, guys. But we'll be able to share this later so people can catch up. So that's why I just wanted to get that in about Melvin Hooker. Also, we got one of Orange Army. Tom Davies says,
Hello, Tom.
evening all, evening, mate. And I know he echoed the sentiments from the beginning of the show as well. Yeah. Wings, Wheels and Fins. Hi all. Brands Hatch was a great meeting. Looking forward to Pembrey. Just waiting for some parts for the Mini K20.
Excellent. So there we go. Great to see it come along.
No, exactly right. Yeah, the 2CVs, I agree. I just love that you got all of you guys with everything that you always bring to the table. You got the trucks and you got the 2CVs, which I do. I remember underestimating how much fun they are. And you're right, they're so passionate, the people that run that. They are great fun. I've commentated on the 24-hour race at Pembrey of the 2CVs. That was hard work.
You mean Snetterton?
No, the 1 year that they did it at Anglesey.
Oh, Anglesey. Oh, my Lord.
Yep. I remember that I had my motorhome still there, and it was in the paddock, and I stupidly, because it's the first time I've done a 24-hour race, I commentated on 21 of the 24 hours or something stupid like that. And but the one time I just went and I was like, right, I'm going to go and have a sleep, and I'll set my alarm for 1 hour later or whatever it was, possibly 2. And as is the way with Anglesey, is that the rain was going that way.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was like such strong wind, and I went and lay up in the over cab bed so that we everybody else had a place to come in the motorhome to sit. So I went up there. I got seasick. I actually got seasick. The thing's like rocking around, and I was like, no, this ain't good. But it was a euphoric experience when we got to the 24 hours. So yeah, they are good fun. I just love how they keep those things running. They're brilliant. Okay, so that's Pembrey. So a week on Saturday, get entered, 3 races, barbecue, party and music in the clubhouse.
Double points. Like that. Double points per race.
Yeah, so it's a great one to get to. Give it a go. It's something different after a good old while. Super Tourer Live is the one after that. Is that right?
Yeah. Super Tourer. The final Frontier is on the 28th of June. That's looking incredibly busy already. I don't look. There's about 120 cars in there. And some amazing machinery in the displays that Peter's been organising, and obviously Dave at MSV. Just some. It's going to be. It's the final one. We're just going to kill it, and come back with something new. We'll come back with something new. It's going to be better, but we'll move that to one side. Yeah, we've got the guys come over from New Zealand. A lot have been sending me. I know I post on social media a lot. The cars in the containers that are coming over. There's cars coming over from Europe, and more importantly, the cars that I already hear. I was on the phone to Alex Sidwell. He's coming out in one of his very special cars in the demonstration. He's also bringing a car along to Racing Thunder. Some beautiful old cars. Hopefully, I know Andy Robinson has already entered. Hopefully, Mr. Wilson will get his car ready to see the big V8s screaming around. Be amazing. But also as well, the pre-66. People are falling over themselves getting that pre-66 race. We've got a few. There's a few people, a few weekend memberships popped in there, but there are some very, very fast cars and very fast drivers out there. So, which reminds me, I do need to speak to one of them tomorrow.
Is it the same? Is it the same again? 1 day's on the Indy, 1 day's on the GP, or the other?
Yeah, Saturday's on the GP, Sunday's on the Indy. We've got all the track walks. We're going to try and I want it. It sounds ridiculous at this point in time. I don't want it to not just be Super Tours, right? Everybody's cars in this club are beautiful cars, right?
100%.
Everybody I want treated the same. I don't want a them and us kind of nonsense.
And I think that is the case. By the fans that are there, is that they do, because they're petrol heads, aren't they? And they love the entertainment, they love the cars, and everything is so immaculately presented. And they are touring cars from different eras.
Exactly, and that's what I want it to be more of a tour. What it is progressing that way, but more of a touring car festival for celebrating everything and everyone who goes all the way to Pembrey to go and do a race. Why should that person get less recognition than a super tour or whatever? So we're going to sort of lay the paddock out a little bit. One of the bits of feedback last year, actually, I think from my good friend Mr. Adam Moore, was that the paddock was looking sparse after there's a few people, some other clubs joined us on the Saturday because the Grand Prix has cost so much money to rent. We've got the 4 grids as we did last year. So we're trying to lay out the paddock. So the paddock is going to be a bit of a show as well. So if everyone's got all the cars lined up, it all looks nice. A Pre-83, 66, etc., 93, all lined up in a row. So it all looks nice. And try and sort of bring that whole thing together. So in the next couple of weeks, they'll be seeing some emails going out. I would say to people, if you're thinking about doing it, please book yourself in now. Every year I have grown men in tears because they haven't got entries and are on reserve lists. So please don't make me feel awkward when I tell you you haven't got a spot. But yeah, just get yourselves booked in. It's the last one we're doing as Super Tour Power. Yeah, I've got Tamir as a sponsor again. So model kits and the first, second, third will get model kits or an RC car kit. We've also got our friends, obviously, from Scale Electrics will be along. They're looking at quite how they're going to do it. Maybe put a track up or something. Tamir have got really involved, and they're going to put. I always remember when we were going to watch touring car, they used to have a big marquee, and they have like a little track out, and the kids will be there. So they're going to do something like that. They're going to do the touring cars, but also as well. My view has always been that pretty much everybody who's watching this, or everyone who's in the club, one way or another, had a rate control car at some point as a kid, because that was like your first in of racing cars. And I'm going to say this because it was Mark at Gulf Oil actually came along to Fruxton and said, "I've got something in my bag, Stuart." You think, what's he got in there? And he pulls out a Rough Rider, and it was his Rough Rider, Tamir Rough Rider from 1985 or whatever. I said, "Look, what do you think?" And it's like there's all these middle-aged men with grey hair, big airline going, "Oh, that's amazing." So that's why I wanted Tamir involved, and who's the importer of the kits. He's a great guy, very, very engaged with the club, very engaged with Brands Hatch, and I want to. You'll see a lot more of that as we go on. But yeah, as I say, our friends at Electrics are just as big.
Yeah, I was very, very envious when I was seeing those remote control cars because I had one as well, and I was like going, now I wish I was racing and on the podium. They looked absolutely wicked. And yeah, Scale Electric, I'm interested to see what their involvement's going to be. I love the fact that I've added the new sponsors on the screen at the back here, and to have the different era of Scale Electric logos back there is so cool. I just think it's such a wicked touch. Byron, you did so well to secure that. It really was good.
It was lucky with Byron. He managed to make it happen, and I really appreciate that. And just there's lots of other people as well. Ricky, obviously sponsoring the Historic Thunder. You've got the Track Hub sponsoring Pre-93. Lap, who's every single year Lee Penn puts money in the pot to help us. Everybody that has come on board this year, PRG Trailers with Thunder. Piers has raced with the club for many years, and to have him supporting the club is we really appreciate it. And I want to put together something to show people the sponsors, and if there's any discounts or anything we can put together for people, just to try and help to give a little bit back. So yeah, it's great. Building Futures, obviously, which is Ian's business. So yeah, it's great. We lost a lot of sponsors over the winter for one reason or another. It's always a bit embarrassing asking people for money. if I'm honest, I don't like doing it. As you know, I'm not quite as extrovert as people think. And I sort of spent Stuart Caie, actually. I said, look, we've lost Laser, and he went out and got us sponsors, and it was really kind that people within the, and it was like an hour, or people on the phone saying, look, we'll do it. Don't worry.
Wow.
So I sort of rung Stuart, said, can you help us? You know, he's taken on pre-93 now, and he's slowly building that back up again to where it should be. And he put something on their little WhatsApp group, and people just stepped up straight away, like, yeah, we'll help. You know, where do we sign? So, you know, we've got Driver of the Day, which Ian Bow was sponsoring, and Track Hub that's he's sponsoring the whole club. So yeah, we really appreciate it.
That is so, and it doesn't surprise me to hear that saying that. Incidentally, Stu Caie commented on the 2CVs. He said, I did the 2CV 24-hour. Best fun you can have in 45 brake horsepower.
I bet it's brilliant to do. I'm not entirely sure it'd be that quick with me in it, if I'm honest. But
you and me both, mate. You and me both.
But they do look brilliant. I think how they go, they trail round together. They just streamline each other. It's brilliant. Yeah.
It does look good. John Gill says, will Defo be back at Super Tourer 3? I missed the last two. Time to put the pom-poms down and dance on track. And he says, Super Tourers is for me the biggest date on the calendar. Can't wait. Get to feel like a superstar thanks to Classic Touring Car Racing Club. And it does do that. What did I do there? Colin Rooney says, I think it's great to see all the classes lined up together in the paddock, but it does lead to the situation we had at Croft 2 years ago when the 66 were all together. They went out. What?
Together they went. Maybe someone robbed them. I didn't know that.
Oh, God. Oh, blimey. Okay. Sorry, I should have read that one first.
No, it doesn't matter. It's true. It's just happened before, and he's quite right. Is that we want it to look like a show, but obviously we don't want people getting robbed, because when a whole batch of people go, we had it with Steve Primmett at was it Alton Park? We've done exactly the same thing there. But what we want to do is just try and make it a bit of a show, and you know there is. We'll have to see how we go on, because that is something that I need to be reminded of, because people have been robbed in the past.
Yeah. He did confirm that's what he meant as well. Thanks, Colin. Appreciate that. Yeah, okay, good. You know, it's important that we get these comments and the feedback, isn't it?
No, absolutely. And I think, you know, it's one of the things that never gets spoken about is the theft that happens in the paddocks. You know, people do. You know, I was with, I remember, was it Freddie Brown? He had his GoPro, Nick. Over the years, anything that's kind of not bolted down, people will have. You know, it's just how it is, sadly. You know, I've known people to have, one of the drivers had his boots nicked. He took his boots off, put them on a trailer, went it off, got a pint, whatever, and someone nicked his boots. I mean, but there you are. So yeah, it is something to be mindful of. I lock everything up, even if I'm walking up to go and say hello to someone. But anyway,
you kind of think it's a false sense of security because everybody's so tight, isn't it? But yeah, sadly, there can often be a snake in the pit, and it'll be from elsewhere and whatever else. So keep that in mind.
You do have to keep it in mind. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't leave things outside your front door. So I
apart from empty milk bottles,
and
bins, full bins.
Full bins, yeah.
John Gill says, well done on getting Scalextric, Big Dog, absolute mega sponsor. And obviously you heard the Big Dog say that Byron takes a big congratulations on that. But also nice to see, John Gill says, Ricky Can is the man, obviously, in more ways than one, including stepping up on the sponsorship. So, but it's almost sold out, Super Tourer 3. So get yourself booked in for that one. It might seem like it's, you know, was it June? I forgot the dates of it now.
4 weeks or so from now.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks. 6 weeks away from here.
Get in now. Get in quick, otherwise you won't get in.
No, you won't. You know, you look at. I'm just having a quick look now at some of the entries, and it's you know, pre-66 is at what, 34 cars. Group 1, pre-93 is at 13 cars. We've got some lovely Group A stuff out there. Pre-03, 11 cars, Boss 9 so far, Thunder's 16. Yeah, Super Tours is 15 in there so far. There's another, I think there's about another 6 or 7 to go in. So yeah, that'll be a fairly big grid. Yeah, it's awesome.
Fair.
One other thing
Awesome. Yep.
that I forgot to mention, which is dinner dance, wasn't it? Which is booked for Valentine's Day. It's just the only date they had left, so we had to book it. It is on Valentine's Day. So, Chris, if
For
you want
those
to
of you who don't know, that's February 14th.
yeah, for those that don't get involved in that, it's February the 14th. It's at the Chelmsford Grange again. We did look at other options, but to be honest, it's kind of a bit better the devil you know with those sort of things. So we'll be there.
It's fine. We get to celebrate it together. That's all good. We can all schmooze together. Ricky Can says, John, as in John Gill, get that pug to Pembrey and the first point's on me, mate. We're witnesses, John Gill. We are witnesses. This is now being broadcast, so Ricky Can will have to honour that one. So get yourself down to Pembrey. Although he's then said, mate, pay my boat and I'll buy all the pints.
Well, he lives on the Isle of Wight, doesn't he? Yeah, he lives on the Isle of Wight.
Of course. That makes sense now. There we go. That makes sense. So February 14th. February 14th, get yourself booked for the awards. And thank you very much, sir. You've booked me to host that again, and I can't wait. Yeah. You know, I absolutely adore hosting that with you guys. It's so much fun, and I deal with it in that particular way. In terms of who is doing what in the championship at the moment, just a quick update on that. The pre-66s, James Ibbetson's leading away on 55 points, 42 points for Ian Thompson in Class F, 40 each for Piers Grange and Barry Syme. In essence, then, what we're saying is it's ludicrously close. So that's brilliant. Again, just keeping up to speed with this soap opera that's going on. John Gill says, Ricky, we have unfinished business. Let's go. And of course laughs at that as well. So there we go. They're baiting each other, which we encourage that, don't we?
We do encourage it. We do encourage it, yes. Probably shouldn't, but yes, it's always good.
No, exactly. So that's pre-66s, pre-83s. Jonathan Corker in his Datsun on 51 points in first. Neil Philpotts on 45 in second. Third is John Margallis on 40. Jake, sorry. Did I say John, didn't I? Sorry, Jake.
Say John. Yeah, no, Jake.
There we go. James Ibbotson, he heard us name check him as leading that championship. So pleased with that. John Gill says, just another update. Ricky, trust me, I'm working on it, buddy. I'm half Welsh, so mega important for me to be there, but will be a late entry. There we go. Melvin Hooker says, still waiting for my complete entry form. So there we go. He's in the throes of doing it, Stu. So we're all right. Pre-93s being led by Ian Bauer on 56, Will Davison on 40 in second place. Pre-03s, Joe Dorrington's leading the way, and then level on points is David Cave and Simon Mann, and only 1 point behind them is Don Hughes. In the Boss, let's have a look. It's 44 points for Tim Mizzen, 31 points for Robert Taylor, 27 for Andy Robinson. Classic Thunder, we've got 50 points for Ian Bauer, 44 for Ricky Can, 43 for Adrian Bradley. So again, just so close. It really is super impressive stuff. There's plenty of fight left in this championship, but there's a lot of fighting to be done, Stu.
There is indeed. It's good to see just how close it all is already, and there's lots of people that have never led a championship are leading. It's just it's wonderful. It's a really cracking year. As I said, some of the racing we've had out of Brands Hatch was just, the first meet you're never quite sure, but then into Brands Hatch and everyone was, back to their old selves. They was getting stuck in. It was brilliant to watch. So I'm sure Mr. Ibbotson will be doing a rain dance all the way to Wales.
Absolutely, I don't doubt it. Sadly, I won't be there with you, which is a shame. I'd love to see that 3 races for everybody around the Pembrey circuit with the championships that close. But it's super, super tight, super exciting. Keep the fight going. Get yourself booked on for Pembrey as soon as possible. Get yourself booked on for Super Tourer Power live as quickly as possible. Don't sit there thinking it's 6 weeks ago, 6 weeks away. You need to get booked on it ASAP. And start booking on for the dinner dance as well. And no, it doesn't matter whether you've won anything or not. As we've seen, Big Dog, is that everybody rocks up whether they've won trophies or not, and has a blooming great big party. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's the best party of the year, isn't it? It's great.
Yep.
So yeah, I need to sort the entry form out actually for that. But yeah, we'll open up the entry soon because we've got it booked. So we know where we're going. We know how much it's going to be. So we could start doing that so people getting booked in early.
And I have to say, it really is genuinely a great venue. As you know, Stu, is that I host a few awards here, there, and everywhere, and like you have issues where they can't fit in people comfortably into the room. It takes ages to get served at the bar. The food might not be brilliant, or the service. And I have to say, it's the best one that we go to because there's plenty of bar space and bar staff, and it really isn't that hard to get the drinks. The food is always exquisite, and they serve it properly. You know, they get everybody's food out in good time. And I say that because it's an interesting mix, that place, isn't it? Where it's half hotel, half event venue, really, because I've done business conferences there as well in the past.
Yeah, it's not. I like it. You know, I'm not going to pretend for a second it's the best hotel on the planet. We have to make it affordable for everybody. But yeah, the food's nice, very organised, and the room's great. You know, the area you've got to present everybody, you've got plenty of room, big screen, all the stuff. Yeah. And it's just it sort of works for us, and so we've decided to go back again.
And we did fill that dance floor as well every year, don't we?
We do, yes. Sorry, my wife's smiling at me because she's off doing the bins. Yes, it's
they're all right out the front door.
As rock and roll as my life gets. But yeah, you know, we have a good time. DJ knows us. We have a great party. You know, just if you haven't won, just come along because you know it's nice to see friends. I find that's almost like after. It's always quite a long gap after the last race of the season to you know, the dinner dance or whatever, and that's almost like you go back to see your friends. You know, people you haven't spoken to for ages, and you're talking about the new season and what your car, what you're going to do. You're not sure. It's great. Get your ticket.
It is. It's like a reunion, isn't it? That's the reality of it. And I always go to bed nice and early afterwards, don't I? But
you do, yeah. On the Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's great fun. It really is absolutely epic. It is so much fun. So make sure you get yourself to that. I think that means we've covered everything. You happy with that?
I'm happy with all of it. It's great. We've done it. We missed the last one because I was on holiday. I was trying to get a suntan. I went to Cyprus and it rained. But anyway, doesn't matter. It's what it is.
And I tell you what was lovely from you all is that both of us, I believe, because I think you'd had it as well, is that we're suddenly going, why is there no Classic Touring Car Racing Club TV? And we were like, oh yeah, darn it, we forgot.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. You know, a few people text me and it was a bit...
But that's lovely.
It's always nice to... The amount of people that watch this that we don't realise watch it, and someone will come and speak to you and say, "Oh, I watched that podcast. And you and Chris said the tickets were £70 and they weren't. They were £63 or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." You know, I just assume because we're so used to doing it, just me and you rattling about racing, and you know, I think it's probably Holly watching it, and she's doing the bins there anyway. But then, yeah, it's nice. It seems to work. I hope to be as informative as possible. So people understand what's going to happen at a race meeting or not.
But it's a giggle as well.
Yeah, it's a giggle. We get to have a glass of something on a Tuesday evening, which isn't what normally happens. But yeah, no, it's good, and long may it last, you know. But yeah, that's it. I'm good. I'm done.
Last couple of comments. Andy Abrams, evening, mate. Great to hear from you. They always make you very welcome at Pembrey. So that's lovely to hear in case you've not been there before.
Very much missed man in the paddock, he is.
I agree.
I agree. In the paddock, I have to say. But
yeah, I agree with you there. James Ibbotson says, good party. The DJ peaked a little too early playing Mr. Brightside in the middle of the set. And it was funny that he kept leaving his post and dancing with everyone on the dance floor. That was funny this year. But mega party other than that. Hey, listen, mate, there's no such thing as a peak because it kept going. But I get your point on Mr. Brightside. That's top tune, definitely. But they kept coming. They were bangers this year, to be fair, constantly. So it was, am I too old to say that? Bangers?
I don't know. Well, I would say something like that and get told off for it.
Exactly. I kind of heard my daughter's voice in my ear just then as I said it. Dad. Listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Apologies that this hasn't worked on Facebook. I've got to go and find out the technicalities behind that. We'll try and get this episode up on Facebook, but obviously it won't be live when it's up on there. But all of you, get entered for Pembrey. Best of luck in that. Enjoy it. And we'll catch up on the flip side, I presume, Stu.
Well, indeed. See you soon.
Fantastic. Right. From all of us here, have a very good evening. We'll see you next time. Night all.
See you later.